Well, today is one of those times I'm going to have to grow up and do something by myself.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's normally him, but he is incommunicado today. He is actually on the way to Meridian. Oddly, it is more difficult to get internet service on the way to Meridian, Mississippi than it is here in the Bahamas. So that tells you a little something about Mississippi, maybe. I don't know. No, I'm just teasing. It's just fine. I love Meridian. We've talked about that before. But all right, so you've all heard not the good news, the big news so far, I'm sure, that Jalen Hale has broken his leg. Apparently, I've heard everything from broken kneecap to broken leg so far. Very, very terrible for him, but it's not certainly something that is going to incapacitate him for the rest of his career, and it's certainly not going to be something that will just hinder Alabama's performance coming up immediately. So, look, first of all, prayers up for Jalen Hale. I love the kid. He will always be the guy who kickstarted Jalen Milroe for me. He made that huge catch against Ole Miss that I thought was great for everybody's composure and confidence for the rest of the season, and specifically for Jalen Milroe. So I always appreciate Jalen Hale for that. And I don't mean to talk about him in the past tense here because he's going to be fine. I mean, I think this could be a 4 to 5 month thing. Which may put him on target to be able to play a lot this year. And I think he's a fantastic player, so I would welcome him back. But really what I wanted to do was let everybody know that, look, all is not lost. Jimmy, actually, I'm going to steal this from Jimmy. Jimmy actually has a great post on BLL, with Bama Online, where he works, and talking about some of the other guys that could take over. Now, a lot of these names you've already heard, but, when somebody drops out of a rotation, like a Jalen Hale, or if you lose a running back, all of a sudden things can look a little more dire very quickly. You go from like, man, our room is loaded. Then you lose one guy and you're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Because everybody has to step it up a notch, right? But I did want to talk a little bit about the receivers that are going to be there, not necessarily taking over for Jalen Hale. I'm not sure he'd be one of the top 3 receivers, but he'd be in the discussion. I do believe that. But let's talk about some of the other receivers. Well, of course, look, you got Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice. I don't think we need to go into very much detail about these two. We know them, appreciate them, very good players. And I say very good. Certainly, I'm not going to say great because they aren't of the caliber of Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Jerry Jeudy kind of guys. They just aren't, and that's no shot at them. That's just the truth. But here's some other names that you should be aware of. Jeremy Bernard. This guy has had more receptions than anybody that's on the team. Now, he didn't do it at Alabama. He did it at Washington. But I think that still counts. That's still a big deal that he is going to be playing for the Crimson Tide and going to help provide a lot of depth. I think he's going to be one of the headliners for this crew. I really do. Then the second one is Emmanuel Henderson. Okay, Jimmy has him as number 2 on this list, and I'm sort of taking the Missouri show me state kind of thing. I got to see something first before I'm going to buy into it. I love Emmanuel Henderson as an athlete. I think he's fantastic. But I got to see him produce before I can buy in totally. Okay. Again, that is no shot at him. I just want to see it happen before I say, hey, no problem if somebody gets hurt. Emmanuel Henderson just slides in there. I don't know that to be a fact, and I can't be that much of a homer anymore. So I don't feel like that's somebody I can put up that highly just yet, even though I love the athleticism. The third guy that Jimmy actually has on his list, and again, because Jimmy's not here, I'm not 100% sure these are just ranked in order. I think these are more ranked based on his educated guesses. Cole Adams. Now, look, Cole Adams is one of those receivers that is always going to be very intriguing, right? I mean, he's going to get the prototypical, hey, he should be playing for the Patriots joke about wide receiver stuff, I assume. And he seems to be a good player. He seems to also be talented potentially at punt returner. So maybe he will get a good look and a lot more shots. And this may be more of an offense that is more friendly to him. So let's see. I'm fine with either Cole Adams or Emmanuel Henderson in this third slot. But what I would do, and again, he's not here yet, but Ryan Williams, Jimmy has him listed number 4. He's not here, but I mean, y'all know my affinity for all things Ryan Williams. I've gotten to call him several times in different games with the HSA radio network. I just think Ryan Williams is the bomb. I do. I think he's going to be fabulous. I think he's going to be incredible at this level, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him play. You guys are going to just be taken aback. Those who haven't seen him play, and especially those who haven't seen him play in person, and there are very few guys that you say, okay, you got to see him in person. You got to see him in person. It'll take your breath away. He is incredible to me. So one thing that may be a bit of a drawback is he's going to be young. I mean, he should be a high school senior next year, not a college freshman, but I think he's ready for it. And I think he's going to be an absolute star the moment he gets on the field. I'm not saying call in for 3 touchdowns in game 1, but it wouldn't shock me if he got 3 touchdowns in game 1. Then the other guy that Jimmy has down here is Caleb Odom. Here's another one that I may even put even higher. Now, again, I'm not sure Jimmy is ranking these guys necessarily, but he just may list them out and put them in a way that, okay, I just wanted everybody to know these guys, and he just wrote them down as he thought about them. Caleb Odom, to me, is another guy that I'm super excited about. And the fact that he's moved over to wide receiver, I think is, super interesting. And then you think about the potential of having like a Caleb Odom and a Cole Adams in the same lineup at the same time. I mean, they're 2 diametrically opposed guys. I think that Caleb Odom is going to be a great, great player. Look, if Ryan Williams weren't coming in, I think that Caleb Odom would probably be creating the most excitement as a freshman, potentially. If somebody wants to comment on that, please do. But I think that, again, Jimmy points this out. I'm going to point it out again. There is certainly a chance that Jaylen Hale could be on the field against Western Kentucky. There is a chance of it. I'm not so sure I'm going to go so far as to say that's going to happen. It may take – I think it's going to take some easing back into the water, especially when you do something like break a leg as a receiver, any part of your leg. I think it's a lot of muscle memory you've got to regain, and a lot of confidence you've got to regain in that leg, and confidence that really you can't even have control over sometimes. If you've ever been hurt, that you're in your mind, you're like, I'm ready to go. But then like you go up to do something, or you go up to jump. I know I broke my leg playing basketball one time, and I would go up to jump, and it's like my leg wouldn't let me go. And even though I was telling it as hard as I could with my brain power, hey, jump like the rest of us, it wouldn't let me do it the way I wanted to. And it took some time. So hopefully with Alabama's kick butt training staff, they'll be able to work through all of that. But I just wanted to maybe alleviate some fears on the wide receivers, because I feel like we're still good there. Jaylen Hale is a fantastic player. He will be missed, but we will just move on, and eventually he will be back. That is the other good news. And this gives it's another opportunity for guys to step up. And so that's very, very important. All right, now I'm going to tell everybody about one of our new sponsors, and that is Bettor Together, Bettor Together. Go download that app from the app stores. Look, Bettor Together is the first cooperative daily fantasy application. Bettor Together. Now, there's play on words there. I hope you caught it. It offers a familiar experience for existing daily fantasy sports players with a social twist. You can play with a friend or a teammate. Provides a sense of camaraderie and enhances the social experience of watching sports. It makes you realize that DFS is fun alone, but it's like everything else. It's better when you're doing it with somebody else, or maybe even with friends. Shows that synergy from working together gives you a better chance at winning than going it alone. The team, the team, the team. We always preach about the team. Well, Bettor Together is here to preach about the team. It puts your group chat to the test and proves yours is the best always. It gives you inexperienced players an immersive way to learn about daily fantasy sports, teaming up with and following the lead of experienced friends and teammates from a team contest. Look, this is something you've got to go try. If you download Bettor Together now from the App Store and sign up using promo code Locked On for a chance to win your share of over $1,000 in cash and prizes, you're going to love it. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. Just don't even question me. Just go do it and don't talk anymore. Go do it. Pause me and go do this. Remember the code Locked On. That's LOCKEDON, because winning alone is fun, but everything is better together. All right, now I'm going to tell you about Fire TV. Look, I love me some Fire TV. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire TV stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. That's a lot of TVs. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or the college basketball tournament, you're going to want to have Fire TV. Fire TV recently created Fire TV channels to deliver a constant supply of the latest videos from your favorite sports brands, all for free. That includes all of us here at Locked On and most of the big pro leagues and college conferences as well. Check out Fire TV channels on Fire TV and Alexa devices. If you haven't checked out Fire TV channels, you should. Trust me on this. To learn more, visit Amazon.com Locked On Fire TV. That's Amazon.com/Locked On Fire TV. Go there and get it going. You want to try it, so go try it. Okay, for this second segment, one thing I wanted to bring up, I mean, look, we can always talk recruiting, right? That's always something fun to discuss here on Locked On Bama. And one thing that just keeps popping up, and look, Jimmy and I want to talk a lot of basketball. I know there are a lot of people out there, and I'm going to talk about basketball in the third segment. But, man, the recruiting of this staff has just been unbelievable. Now, yeah, they got to close. Yeah, it's a long way to signing day, but you can see what these guys are doing, the work they're putting in. JuJu Lewis from Carrollton, Georgia, who is one of the more coveted prospects in the country for next year. He's committed to USC. We've talked about him a lot here on Locked On Bama. He is going to be visiting Alabama again tomorrow for the scrimmage. That's a lot of times he's been to Alabama. And again, maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe he just likes going to Tuscaloosa. Maybe there's maybe he has some friends or female friends down here that he really enjoys seeing. Could be. But you really have to begin to look at this and think, man, this is beyond coincidental at this point. I'm not going so far as to predict him going to Alabama, because I think that's sticking your neck out there a little bit much. But I think he ends up at Alabama. I'm not necessarily predicting it. Is there a difference? I'm trying to understand. I feel like I'm a college educated guy, and I should be able to figure this out for myself. But I'm not going out on a limb predicting he's going to Alabama. I'm just saying I feel like he ends up there right now. That is my gut telling me that. And that would be super interesting. And it's also super interesting coming on the heels of the fact that we talked about other quarterbacks yesterday, like Matt Zollers. Okay, Matt, or is it Zollers? It could be Zollers, Zollers. So Matt Zollers is another guy that's coming in, and he hasn't really been associated with a ton of teams in the South, but he now he was associated with Georgia to a degree, and Georgia just got a commitment from another kid, and that may certainly be something to keep a lookout. Like, it may affect a lot of other dominoes, right? Jared Curtis is who they got a commitment from. And so Matt Zollers, who is the number 3 quarterback in the 2025 class. JuJu Lewis is the number 2 quarterback, I believe, in the 2022 class. Alabama's just bringing in a bunch of dudes. And Faison Brandon out of the 26 class is number 1 guy. He was just there on an unofficial visit. And Keelan Russell, who's the number 10 QB in an SMU commitment, he's aiming for a visit. So, I mean, there is no stone left unturned with this staff. Now, again, Alabama fans should be used to, okay, yeah, we're in the mix for a lot of heavy hitters. And so maybe that didn't excite y'all as much. But see, I had planned to have this drop-off after Nick Saban. I think Jimmy did too. I think a lot of Alabama fans did too. So I was thinking, okay, I've got to reassess my value system and reassess what I consider to be a recruiting win. I don't know that I think I jumped the gun on that. And I'm kind of glad I did, because now it's made me excited that I'm back into this. Instead of just, I'm another 5-star visiting Alabama, I'm like, fired up about it. I'm like Nick Saban 2008, 2009 signing class excited, 2011, 2010, 2012 kind of thing. Before it got to be, oh, okay, well, we got another 5-star. Oh, okay, a 5-star from Hawaii or Alaska or Puerto Rico, and we've never recruited there before. Oh, yeah, it makes sense. Like, instead of the natural excitement I should have had. Well, I'm getting that again. And I'm specifically getting it with JuJu Lewis. And when you think about JuJu Lewis, and he probably looks at Alabama and goes, I've got a good chance to come in here and make something happen. Obviously, Alabama lost their best quarterback prospect from the previous class, transferred to Ohio State. And they did bring in Austin Mack, who we all like. I mean, it's 6'7", 6'8" kind of kid, long, lanky, good feet, rocket arm. Okay, that's great. But you got to keep it going with quarterbacks. I mean, yes, a lot of them end up leaving, and yes, a lot, now, especially with the transfer portal, but you got to keep it going. And I think JuJu Lewis is just the kind of guy that he could come in. You could count on him to potentially be in the mix for a starter the moment he gets on campus. And I'm just super fun. I would highly, highly encourage everybody to go check out JuJu Lewis's tape. I mean, it will really get you excited. And again, don't forget, he was teammates with Caleb Odom. So I know last year there was a big game where Carrollton was on TV on ESPN, and Caleb Odom actually had a pretty big game. And a lot of us were watching Caleb for that. But I mean, a lot of people were watching JuJu too and going, oh my God, this guy's kind of a dude. Now, it should also be noted, I mentioned that I think some people have him as the number 2 quarterback. That's just on the composite. ESPN and Rivals have him as the number 1 player in the country overall. So, yeah, obviously the number 1 quarterback and the number 1 player overall. So, I'm just going to continue to say this. Jimmy and I have said this multiple times. We do not think he ends up at USC. I don't think Justice Terry ends up at USC. That is, again, not necessarily a prediction. It's just what I think. I think all that's going to settle down, and in the end, cooler heads will prevail kind of thing. So I'm really excited about the recruiting that this staff has got going on, and I hope you are too. And you should be paying a lot of attention to it and enjoying it the way I am, because I am certainly enjoying it. Something else you'd enjoy? If you went to NissanUSA.com, you'd love a Nissan. Nissan's awesome. It's great. This week's March Madness bracket highlight is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushed it further than the rest, just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs. These guys were able to take it to the next level. How about those Iowa State Cyclones? They can only be described as a Nissan Pathfinder. They've been thrilling to watch and have really created a lane for themselves entering the tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country. They have a date with Illinois this Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun in the Sweet 16. So take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big thing. All you got to do is go to shop. And then all you got to do to shop, I should say, because I don't want to confuse you, is NissanUSA.com. That's NissanUSA.com. Go check them out ASAP. And of course, there's eBay Motors. We love eBay Motors around here. They have been loyal sponsors, and we truly appreciate them. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much, 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 much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number 1 ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, you're not burning cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions do apply. And eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Okay, so Bama, North Carolina, tomorrow night, 9:30 time, my time. Prayers up for Luke making it that late in the evening. Those who know me know I'm an early to bed, very early to rise, because that's just the way I'm wired. But I'm looking forward to this game. The money seems to be pouring in on North Carolina, which Jimmy and I discussed this yesterday. It seems like a good omen for us. It does. Maybe it shouldn't, but it does. And because the betting public usually doesn't know what it's talking about. So a couple of things, though. I just can't. I've been telling everybody on this podcast that by the time Thursday rolls around, I'm going to Bammer it up, and I'm going to be totally thinking we should win this game. I can't get by the Armando Bacot stuff. I feel like, I mean, a guy with his experience, a super senior, big, strong in the middle, and we've got to play him, and we just don't have that. I can't get over that. And that's why right now I'm leaning North Carolina, but it makes me sick. I mean, because this, y'all, I've been said this before. I'm actually going to the Final Four. One of my oldest son couldn't make it out here to the Bahamas with us. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to take you to the Final Four since it's in Phoenix. And he goes to Arizona State right now. I didn't think for 1 second Alabama would be going. But maybe they will. So maybe it is a bit of destiny that Alabama gets in there. I'm going to make our predictions tomorrow. I know I've been waffling on predictions today. I'm sorry about that. But right now I'm leaning North Carolina still, and I just can't get over it. The one thing that we're not playing Roy Williams, North Carolina. We're playing Hubert Davis's North Carolina. And ESPN still does have us just a tick above 50% chance to win this game. That doesn't make any sense to me either. It really, really doesn't. I'm looking at some of the other predictions around here. That's what's funny is like this prediction machine is supposed to be taking out a lot of biases. And biases, doesn't matter. Sporting News says North Carolina wins by 9. Fox Sports has North Carolina winning by 2. The odds right now are North Carolina, the line has actually crept up a little bit to like 4.5. It was 3.5, 4 yesterday. I mean, that's not a huge move by any stretch, and it makes some sense about, what we've heard about the money coming in. I really think we're going to need Latrell Wrightsell back. I don't know that he's going to be available. There's been no announcement on that as of yet. And, how far can Mark Sears take us? I think that's another thing is that there is another positive. Okay. Mark Sears the other day when we were driving in on Grand Canyon, they had some lengthy, mean, strong, hit you in the face dudes waiting on you, right? I mean, they had guys in there. It was a bar fight, and the refs let it be a bar fight. So be it. The refs stunk. We know that, but they just stunk as in like controlling the game, not like they were biased for Alabama or biased for Grand Canyon. I just think they didn't control the game well. And I don't think North Carolina's got that kind of length. Now, Ingram is 6'7", and certainly he can jump. Bacot, I've talked about big and strong, but I've never considered him like a leaper with all this length. He's more of a rugged force. So maybe we can get to the rim a little better. And if we can get to the rim, then we can dish it back out and hit the three. We've also got to hit our threes. That goes without saying, right? I mean, we just got to be hot one of these games. It feels like it's been a minute since we've been really hot. Now, if you want to say College of Charleston, fine. I'm not throwing them in the mix as much. I mean, I know it was a tournament game, but still College of Charleston. We need to be hot in a big game. And how many big games this year have we been hot in? None outside of Tuscaloosa. Now, I mean, some of the ones we played in Tuscaloosa, we got a little hot. But those games look less big now, like Mississippi State, who's out of the tournament, South Carolina, who went out unceremoniously. So we need a moment, and we need one of those one shining moment games. Boy, I'm sitting here talking to y'all, and like seriously, I didn't come in. Obviously, I didn't come in very prepared with all this. I just sort of talk off the top of my head, and it's 9:59 here in the beautiful Bahamas, and I've talked myself into thinking Alabama's going to win it in the 3 minutes. 3 minutes ago, I told you I can't pick it that way. So, I feel much better about it now because part of me is like the Washington Generals are due. That's the old Krusty the Clown bit from The Simpsons when he took all his money that he made from Clown College and bet against the Harlem Globetrotters. So I thought the Washington Generals were due. Maybe we're due for one of those moments. I will say this too. I've seen several Alabama fans down here. I see a lot of Auburn fans down here too. It's weird. I guess everybody's spring breaking, but Anyway, that's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back with some official projections and predictions for the big basketball game tomorrow. And Jimmy will be back tomorrow. So hopefully all you guys were able to suffer through this. And I just wanted to put something out because I'm like, hey, we can't have, I mean, we need Jimmy for Locked On Bama, but every now and again, one of us is going to have to go solo. So there we go. I appreciate you guys so much. Hey, we're only like 14 away from 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you are so inclined, please, I'll dance at all of your respective weddings, however many of them you have, if you will just subscribe to our podcast. We appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you guys a ton, and roll tide.